When you run from God, His love chases after you. In our text today from Jonah chapter 3, verse 1, it says this: Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah the second time, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and call out against it the message that I will tell you. Well, that reluctant prophet couldn't stomach the idea of preaching hope to Israel's enemy, Nineveh. So Jonah wasn't just frustrated and being rebellious, he was also being depressed. When a great storm threatened the boat that he was using to flee, Jonah told the sailors to just throw him overboard. The suicidal prophet wasn't allowed to drown that day. No, instead, God appointed a great fish to swallow Jonah. And after 3 days in the tomb of the belly of that great fish, Jonah was resurrected to dry land by the great fish spewing him out on the beach. Now, after all of that running, the nearly drowning, the dwelling in fish guts, and the being spat out onto dry land, the story continued with one of my favorite texts. The word of the Lord came a second time to Jonah. The gift of the prophet was not revoked. The calling on Jonah's life was not canceled because of his heinous rebellion, his failure, his shame. The power of God's call upon Jonah was greater than the power of Jonah's rejection of God's call. The grace of God triumphs over our shame and our guilt, our sin. Those pagan sailors threw the man of God into the depths, not knowing that they would become the real prophets, painting a portrait of the cross. Follow the story. See the foreshadowing of Jesus. The sailors are scared of the man of God. Jonah, he took the blame. He said, "Put the guilt on me. Throw me into the sea." The sailors tried to do all that they can not to do that, and they began to row hard and throw cargo, and they became overpowered and weary before they finally began to think that killing the prophet was the only way to get out of this. The sailors actually called out to the God that they didn't know, "O Lord, let us not perish for this man's life, and lay not on us his innocent blood." And the sailors sent Jonah off to the depths to die, and the sea ceased raging, and the man of God was as good as dead for 3 days in the belly of that great fish, before emerging miraculously to life again. You can see it. Jesus, the true Jonah, came to take the blame, to being tossed into the sea of our guilt and our sin, and to emerge triumphantly so that our sin would not defeat the calling of God on our lives. Oh, you can run, but you can't hide from the love of God. Try as hard as you may. Now this is good news. Amen.